Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Wild, and today I am very excited to announce that I have just completed my second living shiny dex, this time in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Last time I completed the living shiny dex, it was in Arceus, and I've done it again in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, completing the living Paldea dex, but shiny. And I do want to note that this is the living Paldean deck, so it doesn't include things like Dotonian Wooper or Charizard or Greninja. Yet, for those of you who don't know what a living dex is, it can be obtained one of two different ways. One is obtain a Pokemon of every single species in that Pokedex. The second is obtaining every single form and gender of that Pokemon. If you're shiny hunting a living dex, you usually end up getting a bit of both. So let's ask the two main questions. How and why? How long did this actually take? Well, the answer is kind of muddy. Between both versions, it's about 1,200 to 1,300 hours. And I give a range because of the reset method for saving resources when doing sandwiches, and also the reset method when doing eggs. That saves you both on time and on things like herba mystica, which, as we all know, is ridiculously painful to obtain. Well, how about why I did it? Well, just like the first time, it was a personal challenge. And I ended up having a lot more time on my hands this time around because unfortunately in December, my father passed away after his 8-year battle with cancer. And so in order to keep myself busy and kind of keep my brain occupied, I focused on completing this challenge. And I'm very happy to report that I did. And Scarlet and Violet just sort of ended up being a great way to distract myself and keep my mind busy. Now let's talk strategy. What were my methods? What was the best way that I found that helped me get these Pokemon as quickly and as efficiently as possible? Wow, I forgot how slowly this loads. My strategy is simple. Speed is key. You gotta go fast. There's a lot to do, there's a lot to see, there's a lot to find. Now, I know some people hate them. They have been kind of controversial in the last couple of weeks or so, but quick balls really do speed up the process. And I'm not a person that cares about pairing the ball with the color of the Pokemon. I just want it in my collection. And even though they don't always work, I always do end up catching the Pokemon, mostly. I do gotta give a quick shout out to Dusk Balls. Dusk Balls are the second best ball in any Pokemon game, excluding the Master Ball. I will die on that hill. That is my Pokemon hill I will die on. Dusk Balls, second best Pokeball ever. Hello, piggies. So now let's talk about sandwiches. Oof. Sandwiches were an interesting addition to the game. Do I personally like them? No, the answer is a hard no. The animations were insanely glitchy. Stacking ingredients like tofu or egg salad was less than enjoyable, to say the least. And obtaining herba mystica through one of the worst online play experiences I think I've had in a long time. Let's just say that I hope that sandwich making and food making does not make a return in future generations of the game, though they were good for a laugh here and there. There is a thing that took me by surprise, and it's something that I learned while using these sandwiches. And it's that certain Pokemon that share the typing with the sandwich that I would make doesn't always get spawn boosted. For example, a flying sandwich would often boost Tropius and not Staraptor. A psychic sandwich up on the mountain would boost Bronzong but not Ralts and Gardevoir. And a fighting sandwich would boost Lokix, but not Hawlucha or Gallade. So a large portion of my time was trying to figure out which sandwich boosted which Pokemon in which location the best. Thankfully, I did have my little brother there to help me, so big shout out to him. Really do appreciate all the sandwich help. Now, one of the last strategies that I would do is I would reset spawns. So what you can do in your Switch is go in here, go down to System, and change the date and time, and the spawns that show up on the map would change. This method requires a lot of patience, And while sandwiches can play a role in getting the outbreak that you want, it doesn't always guarantee that that will appear. Sometimes it's the time of day, sometimes it's the location on the map, And sometimes it is just pure dumb luck. I didn't get a Gardevoir or Gallade outbreak until long after I had spent hours trying to catch 4 shiny Ralts. Believe me, it was a little bit of salt in the wound when I saw those starting to appear on the map. The hardest ones for me were getting Tinkatink and Cloth. Those required hours and hours of resetting the time to try and get it to outbreak. Sandwiches didn't help. Like I said, being in the right location was the only thing that helped me get those Pokemon in the end. After 392 species of shinies caught, which one was the hardest? Flabebe and Floette were a challenge and a half because they occupy what feels like 2 pixels each. I mean, here, you could even see it right here. The only part of Flabebe that changes is that purple portion of its body. And I spent a lot of time staring, squinting, using a magnifying glass on my monitor to see if that was actually the shiny Pokemon. The starters were also difficult. It took about 100 hours of egg hunting because I didn't have to get just 1. I had to get 3. So that's 3 Fuecocos, 3 Sprigatitos, and 3 Quaxleys. I did get lucky with Fuecoco where I got 4. However, the most difficult shiny for me to obtain was actually this guy. Tynamo. If you shiny hunted Tynamo, you know the struggle. I need to replace my eyes after trying to hunt this thing. Whoever thought it was a good idea to get rid of the Arceus shiny sound and the star effect should be forced to constantly stub their toe. The eye strain was so intense, even on my monitor. I couldn't imagine hunting it on the little handheld screen. I would like to apologize because I took for granted that blessing of a sound and beautiful notification in Legends Arceus. I do, however, want to give honorable mention, and that is to Barboach. I call it Barbaduke. So if I say that on a stream or in a video one time and you're like, what the hell Pokemon is that? This guy. This one right here. This one was a hard puzzle to solve because Barboach will spawn in puddles. They're not ponds. Most of these things are puddles. So getting it to spawn in the right one took a long time, and it ended up being this one right here in the South Province in Area 4. This one right here, that spot is where Barboach would spawn more than 1 or 2 at a time. I ended up getting 7 to 9 spawning at a time in this location, and I had a better shot at actually seeing a shiny Barboach. I almost said it Barbaduke again. And it still took me using a water sandwich to actually get it. And I didn't just have to get 1, I had to get 2 because I wanted to evolve it into Whiscash. Because at the time, I didn't know that Whiscash outbraked. Outbroke? Outbroke. It would outbreak. Grammar, we don't need that here. Now let me share with you my top 5 shinies from Paldea. Dondozo. Its massive gold and white body made it stand out against the lake, and it made it all the more sad when I turned around and watched it despawn. I spent hours doing that outbreak. That one hurt. That one hurt a lot. Number 2 is Iron Thorns. I love this Pokemon, and I absolutely want it as a desktop lamp. I need either the Pokemon Center or Etsy to get on making this thing. And then, send me one because I came up with the idea. Number 3 is Cloth. The fact that it is a bright blue, just to make it stand out against that beautiful orange background, it made discovering it just all that more exciting. Number 4 is Sitite. This Pokemon is so big and so cool. I am very glad that they did not do to this Pokemon what they did to a lot of the Paldean Pokemon, which was just shift their color palette a little to the left and call it a shiny. This one looks like a killer whale. I love it. He a thick boy. Oh, girl. Mine's a girl. And number 5 is Tatsugiri. Not this Tatsugiri, but the white one. We love an all white or all black shiny, and Roll the clip. All right, let's see. We got, oh, white Tatsugiri. I have the other one. Okay, so this time I'm gonna try and match it in a Premier Ball. So let's false swipe it. Because I normally just use quick balls, but I mean, it's white. You gotta match it, right? Oh, shit. Okay. Bye. Yeah, that one did me dirty. And I know what you're gonna say because TikTok said the same thing. And that's why you save. Nah, screw that. It's more fun to risk it. One shot, one chance. That's all you get. Now let's talk about eggs. Some Pokemon were only obtainable in shiny form through eggs. Some were just easier to obtain through eggs. The starters were locked, so we had to get them through hatching. And Pokemon like Sunkern, which, by the way, showed up on the 15th egg. I've never had that before. That was great. And Pokemon like Slackoth were just easier to hatch since getting them to appear with sandwiches was difficult, since they only appear in specific trees or flower patches. Not really a fan of that mechanic. I'm not gonna lie about that one. Every single one of these Pokemon represented a unique challenge, whether it was impossible to see or it was stuck in a wall. It needed a specific time of day or a special sandwich ingredient in order to spawn. They each have their own set of challenges and adventures attached to them. And I think that's what I like most about doing a shiny dex, is just, it's fun. It's just fun. And we got some fun surprises along the way, such as all of the Sawsbuck and all of the Deerling. I had no intention of getting every single one of them, but they just showed up. They showed up every time I needed to do the sandwich in the area. Another thing is we got all of the Lycanroc forms. We got the day form, we got the sunset form, and we got the midnight form. We also got all of the Oricoriors. Oh my God, I'm saying it just like the TikTok. Oh man, once you hear all the Australian TikToks with or nor, I can't stop saying Oricorior, or nor, Corior, or Oricor. Oh. Oricorior, or Noricorior. But we ended up getting all of them in their shiny form thanks to the nectar being available for sale at the shop. A little piece of advice: don't do what I did and spend hours going around Tag Tree Thicket trying to hunt for Applin in the trees. Applin does outbreak, so if you can, try and get yourself an Applin outbreak. I will, here, let me just go to the map real quick. When I got my Applin outbreak, I was here. It spawned here. So good luck. Now, the last Pokemon that I went for on my journey was Spiritomb. At this point, Shiny Spiritomb has become synonymous with me and my channel. If you want this Pokemon, the wild encounter is the normal 1 in 4,000 odds. Shiny Charm and sandwiches do not affect it. So, for me, it made sense to do an egg hunt. But just because it was an egg hunt does not mean that it was easy. Even with the Masuda method, which is using a foreign Ditto, it took over 1,200 eggs and 5 days to hatch it. But once it did, 12 eggs later, a second one hatched. RNG is so weird sometimes. It waited to the last second, but it showed up because I was worried. I would not meet my goal and get this done by Pokemon Day. And it is today, today is February 26th. Spiritomb was caught yesterday on the 25th. I don't want to show you full screen because all my laundry is behind me. Can you just show my phone, please? Thank you. February 25th. February 25th, 2023. I cannot speak. I've got one day until Pokemon Day. One day before they tell me that, oh, by the way, we're announcing a DLC. I did it again. I am the greatest shiny hunter. And I can't believe I did it. I cannot believe that I have a complete living shiny dex again. So I know a lot of you guys are numbers people, so let's wrap it up with some numbers and I'll show you some totals. The total number of shiny Pokemon caught, the total number of shiny Pokemon failed, and I do only count battle failures. If it's on the clip, if it's clipped out by the spawning radius, that's just a sad moment, okay? That doesn't count as a fail. That's not my fault. Total number of eggs hatched. This is gonna be an estimate because of the reset method that I did. If you don't know what the reset method is, you can clear a bunch of your boxes and save before you do a sandwich. Populate your boxes with the eggs that you want, hatch them all, and if none of them are shiny, just close and reset your game and you don't have to spend the time clearing them out one by one. Because for whatever reason, Game Freak decided to not put mass transfer in this game, which is stupid because that was my favorite feature in Arceus. Bring that back. Always have mass transfer be a thing. The egg hunters, the hatchers, they need that. Baby, we need that. At the end of the day, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were fun. Even though it ran at 15 FPS, had hundreds of glitches, and the online part of the game was absolutely insufferable. Man, I miss solo play games. I still had a really great time playing it. Frustrating, but fun. Before you go, please consider subscribing. This is a variety channel, so we do play a lot of fun games here. Don't forget to like the video and leave me a comment down below letting me know what was your favorite shiny. And maybe what was your least favorite shiny, because there were a lot of not so good ones. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Stay wild, my friends, and I will see you in the next one. Later.